Good morning. Welcome to my porch. It's been an amazing week. A lot has happened. My head is still spinning. New house bunny. My family came to visit. Registered for grad school. Got a new car. It's actually the car I've been imagining myself driving down the highway, practicing our manifestation stuff. So very surreal to actually be driving it on the highway. My literal dream car, a couple steps beyond what I was expecting. So at least for right now, I should say, my dream car. So that's been very exciting. Just creating a lot of new change. I mean, even listen to this. You've been on my porch before. Do you hear any barking? Unexpectedly, the neighbor dog, who we dearly love, Maya, we talk to her. She's sweet, but she has been barking a lot the last few years. Suddenly they put a for sale sign out. They moved out. Boom. I didn't even realize how much her barking was impacting us until they went away. And it's kind of a powerful example. I realized how often are things like that in our lives where because something exists, we don't want to make it a problem. So we don't want to focus on it and say, this really sucks, because you kind of know that's just going to make it worse. But it is still impacting you, and you kind of don't realize until that irritant is removed. I don't want to say irritant, but life circumstance, we'll say. Especially something like a loud noise that's relatively frequent, that's out of kilter with other noise. It's incredible how quiet it is. The amount of peace, like I feel like I should whisper. It's wonderful, needless to say. So that happened like this week, and I was like, wow, if something like that is being removed and I didn't even know I wanted it, what else is going to happen? It's very exciting. So lots of good things. We planted so many flowers everywhere. The yard is looking amazing. The bunny place is looking fun. So many insights, but also feelings of satisfaction that are different than others I've experienced, but I really like things I really long for, like having a nice visit with my parents. That's something, I mean, I'm sure many people have had that their whole lives, but for a lot of us, that isn't something that was relatively common. And, you know, I have to say, it's really awesome to have it show up in your 40s because you've been missing it your whole life, and it's just so friggin' meaningful to miss my parents, to have them come and have a wonderful visit, to be in my home with my husband that's beautiful and welcoming and cozy, and I can take in the bunny, and just to have a life that's flourishing where I'm happy they felt it, they came here and they see it, and there is a change. Also, leaving work and wanting to come home. I used to be so work obsessed. Like there wasn't really a reason to leave work and go home other than you're supposed to and you shouldn't work so much. Now it's like, oh, well, I kind of can't wait to get out of here just to go home and play in my garden with my bunnies, see my hubby, snuggle, do all the things we like to do. Like this is becoming our playpen of sorts. I wonder how many other people out there struggle to find feelings of satisfaction because we aren't building personal lives that feel really good. Like we don't know how to self-soothe. We're looking for so much satisfaction out there, like we've all been programmed to do, like I've done for decades, through work and all these other ways. And we want to find that balance because we still have a voice and we want to share. I'm so excited to do grad school. I've decided to take my consulting company, dust it off the shelves, certify as a coach, see what happens, get back in that conversation, and sort of downgrade the job I have to, rather than career, just something that's going to support my life and what I want it to be. And that's a completely new place to come from, but that's part of this journey, right? I'm sure that's a huge piece of the happiness journey, is getting your priorities in a different order, but that takes a lot. Some things have to knock loose, and I think I'm understanding more and more too why when we make those big changes, it can seem like things get worse before they get better. I've said it on here a lot, and I know I'm just going to keep repeating it because it is important to me, and it's part of the reason and my passion for this particular channel and project is I want to somehow share the experience or process or example of real, authentic growth and change. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that looks like, but that is what's on my heart here. I know my real passion is to have a new conversation with women about our country, like all these different ways, because I've seen different sides of things and I see I think, a way to move through a lot of what we're experiencing by having a new conversation where it generates new content that a lot of people can vibe with, that would really bring us together. That has been shown to me by getting involved in a lot of the fringe different ways of thinking. But I get passionate about having that conversation. But here, my passion is more about what are the foundational experiences and what does real growth look like? Like, we know it's messy, but how do you get there? And I think that's one reason I like to focus on a lot of metaphysical and spiritual principles, because I truly believe there is a creative part to our lives and reality that we don't realize. And if we had the knowledge about these tools, well, obviously the way we think about the world is going to impact us, but we don't realize the double binds or inconsistencies in our thinking that really impact our lives. Like my whole life, for example. I'll give you an example. It's a lot fluffier. It's too fluffy right now. Like, my mom would always talk about the wonder, like, God's so amazing. Can you believe this amazing world he made? But at the same time, as being a strong Christian, she was also a scientist. So she was always reducing everything to molecules, chemical structures, atoms, biology, and that things do what they do because that's what they do, right? Sort of instinct. I didn't have the verbiage for it until Alan Watts said, we think our world is stupid. And then I realized why I never really experienced the wonder that she was experiencing about creation, because it was unresolvable, this sort of magical wonder for everything, with what I didn't have the words for, which is something that it has been described to me as dumb. Something that's been described as sort of unconscious mechanism. He calls it, I think, the mechanistic model, a machine. And I get that. I was trained sort of that everything was sort of a robotic machine. So where's the wonder? And then you add in this like dude in the sky that's sort of like Zeus with a lightning bolt. That's sort of like, you're good and you're bad. And it's not fun. You don't feel engaged in it. You do feel like it's happening to you more. So Alan Watts shares, I've got a new book. This will be in the next study, but I just want to share the line because it's on my mind. A quote from Goethe that Alan Watts shares. And it says, the highest to which man can attain is wonder. And if the prime phenomenon makes him wonder, let him be content. Nothing higher can it give him, and nothing further should he seek for behind it. Here is the limit. We've gotten real condescending about the wonder of life, the magic of life. We've made everything very dumb and predictable and stupid. And even when magical things happen around us and people get good things, we go, oh, they're born into it. Or, oh, well, they gave it to, and I've noticed Neville a lot of times with creation will say, like, don't get caught up in the mechanism of how it shows up. Get caught up in the wonder of it. When we realize, if we can take a moment to really step back and realize, if this stuff really vibes with you, taking a step back and realizing for me that there's something really cool and magical happening with the environment around us. And we are so much more involved than we realize, but yet so much less involved, in the sense of there's just really an asking, and then there's this beautiful, magnificent mechanism that's going to answer. And I think about the possibility in that if we all knew we were sort of in our own dream world, that we were all designed to see different things by our own belief systems, wouldn't we want other people's input? Because we would realize they literally are seeing things we can't see in a way we can't see them, and we are stronger together in our perspectives. And things in my life are changing to such a gentleness and an aspect of softening. I used to feel like an imposter in my personal life. And kind of in work life, but I think that's normal in work life to a certain extent. But I wanted a life that really suited me, and now my life feels so good. These experiences that coming are so satisfying. My family, my husband, my home. And maybe a lot of people have these things and take them for granted, or maybe people are having these experiences, but they aren't really satisfying. And I'm beginning to really understand that the wonder for the experience experience of satisfaction, of having things that really do content our soul and going, oh my gosh, the beauty that really is something to shoot for. And I never understood why it was something to shoot for before, and I suppose that's because I really didn't experience it. And isn't that hard? Isn't that hard to have as a goal something that you haven't experienced? But I'm so grateful a year ago I made a target for something that I didn't really know what I was shooting for, and I still don't to a certain extent. And funny, I made the goal while I was at Target. But there's a much deeper understanding and vibing that is deeply satisfying, and I guess I'll just leave it there that all these wonderful things are happening. Next week I could totally change. It's the roller coaster of up and down, right? How easy to feel good with good conditions, but there's still been a lot of meat in this. Grief, going back to where we live, seeing old friends, processing with my parents, saying goodbye. But there's a richness to the whole experience, a softening to the death conversation through all of this, a greater connection with the plants and the animals, but also each other and sort of the future and what's possible. That's soothing. I guess I'll call it the season of soothe. The summer of soothe, maybe. Right? We're in the process of soul blossoming, I think, here. I think that's a goal I made a long time ago, and we'll continue to journey that. Anyway, I just wanted to catch you up. New bunny, new car, new flowers, new goals. Not so much goals, but grad school, expanding, learning. I'm so excited to do all of that and share what I learned with you, along with some new books. So on to the study.